Hi, I'm Ian Matthews, and this is Tango Tasters. Today I'm going to be talking about some content related issues once more, but specifically, rather than show you how to use them in a technical sense, I just want to bring you some information about some of the things that I've seen at the recent ISTE EdTech conference in the US. The ISTE conference is this. It's effectively a 4 or 5 day conference where the great and the good, it would seem, of the education community get together, talk about ways that EdTech is improving their teaching and learning skills, but also to try and share ideas about what makes good practice within it. It's worth having a look on the ISTE website themselves, see if there's anything that might interest you. But for me, I want to talk about 4 things in particular that I found. The first thing I found was a group called the Kids Know It Network, and Kids Know It is a little bit like the not QuickTime, sorry, the Q file stuff that I've been using recently. Think of it as a place where all these different resources exist. You can see by me dragging my mouse over the arrow here, we can go through all these different types of content provision. It's lots of different things, ranging from geography, science, maths, engineering, and so forth. It's very much a STEM site, and that's science, technology, engineering, and maths. It's a place that has lots of worksheets, games, movies, videos, and so on that will relate in part to stuff you may be doing. But of course, you're going to have to give it context as you go. It's just a case of being able to find the relevant stuff as you go. As I've used it, I've tended to find things like the fun sites, as they call them, relate to spelling, history, biology, geology, and so forth. So they're going to be more thematically based, but you don't have to think of them in those sense. You can go to individual session types as you go. There are a number of different sites that offer in-depth areas in of themselves. So with the kids' math area, as Americans would say, we work from the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division elements, and then start getting more complex. The way the complexity tends to work, I'd probably mark it between about the ages of 4 and 8. But that's not to say that the complex elements of algebra, for example, aren't there. It's just going to be presented in a way that younger minds might be able to deal with it. They've got things like space exploration for the science. They've got a lot of engineering resources that would look at how humans have made it to Mars and explored. Again, very much like Q files now it's being presented here. This version that I'm actually showing you at the minute has adverts on it because that's how they're going to be making their money. You can log in and sign up to an ad-free version, but that'll cost a little bit for a subscription. Whether that you think that's worth it will be up to you, but the actual resources themselves are free. When it comes to where they're storing a lot of their resources, they do have a very interesting Twitter feed that will bring you up to date with any recent inclusions on their website. This one here is looking at the science element I've just shown you. It's talking about how Curiosity, Spirit and Opportunity and the Sojourner rovers have been deployed on Mars, but it's done in a way that obviously gives you that sense of being able to color in as you go, for example. The geography part of the website has a number of games. So here we go, we have the latitude and longitude game where we're going to recover ancient artifacts from different parts of the world. By clicking on it, we're going to get different sites that are going to link it with the coordinates. Lots of different types of games along these lines relating to all the different types of subjects that we discussed. So that's Kids Know It Network, a great free and easy resource bank that I definitely suggest you give a go. Leading on from that, there is Flipgrid. Now Flipgrid suggests that it is where social learning happens. Every student has a voice and let's amplify it. Recently, Flipgrid's just been bought up by Microsoft, so they've obviously seen something in this. I initially saw this website as almost like a resource bank in the same vein as Kids Know It. Maybe teachers being able to put ideas up on for learning, kids to be able to reply to that, for example. I was sort of right. The idea of Flipgrid isn't to simply just have a bunch of resources online. Rather, it's about being able to create virtual classrooms, professional learning networks, and so forth, where teachers can put together classes on grids and when they do so, learners can access that grid and provide answers to questions placed there. So for instance, if I were doing a geography question about latitude and longitude based on the game from the previous website, I could get the learners to record a 30-second clip of themselves describing the main features of what we've been learning about. Immediately, I'm going to be able to get all the information from all the class towards and place in the grid. So the idea is that you can create your own grids, but also you get the ability to tap into other grids as well for ideas. Your learners will then, as I say, record stuff and then send it to the front. The way they relate it here is about student voice, about making sure that the kids at the back of the classroom are able to have as much of an impact on learning as those at the front, or better explained, those who would be more willing to put their hands up and discuss their ideas. Definitely worth a go. But rather than just presuming to go onto the website and understand it from the start, I'd suggest going on Twitter and using the hashtag FlipgridFever. Going to this will allow you to see the numerous amount of people that are actually creating really first grade content within Flipgrid and explaining it in a far more easy to understand way than I'm able to do here. The third thing that I want to talk to you about is the Digital Citizenship Institute. It's a group of people that are looking to find ways to move between, so we say, local communities and international ones, but treat them both with the amount of respect that they're due, i.e. both our personal learning or professional learning networks, and ideas and answers can be found from anywhere. How we get there and how we get those ideas might involve using appropriate social media networks or appropriate sites and so forth. And the Digital Citizenship Institute kind of looks at how we can learn how to differentiate between positive and negative means in which to do this. It's not so much the website I would suggest that you do take a look at, though. I mean, the Digital Citizenship Institute is good in its own right, but there's a specific subset of it called the Digital Kids Institute, I believe. The Digital Citizenship Kids, beg your pardon. Run by a guy called Curran, young guy, and he has effectively said, all right, well, if we've got all these networks out there, why not allow the kids to be more involved in determining whether these are of any particular value? Why are we having it so that the teachers are the ones effectively saying that our knowledge needs to be imparted to learners, when kids might have a better understanding of these networks than the teachers do? That's something that I myself agree with entirely. I think that using the kids' knowledge in our classrooms is going to be a far better way to engage them than us espousing what we think is the best answer. So Curran and the group themselves try to impart the information of sharing knowledge across the world, solving problems together, and empowering kids to do that. I think it's a brilliant message, and again, I'm not going to go too much into depth with it. I'm going to let Curran talk for himself and the group talk for himself, but please do go and check that out at digitalcitizenshipinstitute.com/digcitkids. The fourth thing I'm going to talk to you about is Project Quantum, and that is on the diagnosticquestions.com platform. The platform itself is almost a digital classroom in of itself. It's a place where teachers can make presentations and question and answer sessions that are not only just easy to make, but also really good at producing valuable diagnostic content about who's using it, when they're using it, and the answers that they're giving as you go. But rather than just say the website itself, it's the Computing at School Network version of it that I really like. Computer studies, ICT as it may have been called, IT, whatever, has often been misinterpreted in my impression when we try and deliver it at schools. Really, the computer science, IT and digital literacy are a combined group of elements that need a better way of expression. And I think that one of the best ways to express that is to get learners to use coding platforms such as Binary, Java, Kodu, Python, Scratch, and so on. What the Computer School Network have done with this is create a whole universe of sessions based on all these different types of computer science elements. And they end up making stuff that looks a bit like this. Looks like a PowerPoint, in a way. And if a learner were to pick an answer, let's say, where would you find this type of block? It's going to be in the events element. You're going to select B, and it's going to say, select B. It's going to ask you effectively, I've already chosen this one, what it is that has prompted that answer. So if I jump to the next question, for example, if I select B this time, it's going to say, well, I think that's because. So it's involving the teacher and learner, not just as a kind of a summative assessment. It's pushing it back to formative, something I'm a huge advocate of, because you could get 8 out of 10 just by blagging it. In this case, it's also suggesting that not only I'm just guessing, but it could be that this is the reason I've got it. It sort of shows you working as well. Really like it, and I think it's a good way to test yourself as well. If, as a teacher, you're maybe coming at this new. So there we have it. That was my roundup of the ISTE 2018 good things to see. If you are interested in the things we've been talking about here, feel free to get in touch on the Tango Tasters YouTube channel, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.